I Love Lucy is the classic TV show. Running from 1951 to 1957, it set the standard for the American sitcom and even introduced the concept of the rerun, ultimately cementing the practice that continually introduced the show to new generations long after it first aired. Its staying power and iconic status has led to countless articles and lists detailing the top most beloved and classic episodes. But as someone who has seen every episode dozens of times, I'd like to discuss what are, in my opinion, the worst episodes of I Love Lucy, the ones that are not just mediocre or bad, but that frustrate and infuriate me. So here are the 5 worst I Love Lucy episodes. Number 5. Lucy Plays Cupid. Lucy finds out that her older neighbor, Miss Lewis, has a crush on the local grocer, Mr. Ritter. Miss Lewis, too shy to tell Mr. Ritter how she feels, asks Lucy to give him a letter detailing her feelings for him. She agrees to do so, but when she tells Ricky about the situation, he forbids her to meddle in other people's relationships and proceeds to spank Lucy when she doesn't immediately obey. Yikes. Lucy, despite the physical abuse and feeling bad for Miss Lewis, gives Mr. Ritter the letter. It turns out that Miss Lewis signed the letter, Secret Lover, and Mr. Ritter is convinced that Lucy is his secret admirer, despite her telling him over and over that she isn't, and he invites himself to dinner at her apartment. To get Mr. Ritter off her back, Lucy finds out everything that Mr. Ritter dislikes and plans to scare him away at dinner. Despite the scene she sets, which includes an unkempt appearance and house, terrible cooking, and a group of children she claims to be hers, Mr. Ritter still wants to be with her and chases her around the apartment as she screams at him to leave her alone. Ricky comes home but doesn't help matters at all, declaring that he's giving Lucy to Mr. Ritter, which is his way of getting back at her for meddling in other people's affairs. Eventually, Miss Lewis comes by and lures Mr. Ritter out with some flirting techniques that Lucy taught her earlier. This episode has always annoyed the hell out of me, thanks to the creepy-ass Mr. Ritter. He doesn't take no for an answer, and is relentless in pursuing Lucy even after she repeatedly tells him she's not interested in him, going so far as to chase her around her own apartment, and he's just annoying and pervy as f***. The whole situation is played off as a funny misunderstanding, but it just comes off as creepy and obnoxious, and the character of Mr. Ritter is an absolute douche that completely ruins the entire episode. Number 4. Little Ricky's School Pageant. Little Ricky's school is putting on a play. Lucy and her big aspirations wants Little Ricky to be the lead, and Ricky insists that it doesn't matter what part he gets and that all parts matter. The parents are going to be involved in the production as well, and Ricky is cast as a tree, Lucy as a witch, and Ricky volunteers Fred to play a frog and Ethel to play a fairy princess. Later, Little Ricky comes home with a note saying that the lead child actor can't do the part and offers it to Little Ricky, which Lucy delightedly accepts despite Ricky's warnings that it's too big of a part for such a small child. The rest of the episode is the school pageant, showing Little Ricky forget his lines and the adults helping him along the way, ending with Lucy doing a little physical comedy, flying around on wires as the witch. If you've seen a crappy children's school play, you've seen this episode. It's boring, uninteresting. You have to listen to shrill, off-key singing kids and watch them suck at acting. It's supposed to be cute and charming, but it just puts me to sleep, and I don't understand why they thought this would make for entertaining television. Number 3. Lucy and the Dummy. Lucy and company are in Hollywood and Ricky has just finished making a movie, and he decides to take a few days off to go fishing. His studio calls asking him to appear and perform at a studio party, which he refuses due to wanting time off. Lucy sees this as the perfect opportunity to get into the act, and without Ricky knowing, tells the studio that he will perform, but only if he can perform with his wife, which the studio agrees to. Ricky goes on his fishing trip while Lucy tries to figure out a plan, deciding she will dance around with a dummy version of Ricky for a while before claiming he's sick, ditching it, and then stealing the show. When she does the performance, it fails miserably, but it's so funny that executives decide to offer her a year-long contract at the studio, which is her lifelong dream. When Ricky finds out, he and the Mertzes try to manipulate her into not taking the contract by using reverse psychology, saying they're happy for her, but have to go back to New York along with little Ricky, but she can come visit on Christmas and call whenever she likes. She contemplates this, becoming heartbroken at the thought of not being able to see her husband, child, and friends, and decides not to take the job. One of the main ideas, the main concepts of the show I Love Lucy is that Lucy wants to get into show business and will do whatever it takes, oftentimes trying to get into Ricky's act. There are so many plots where this is the case, and this episode is like Tom finally catching Jerry or Wile E. Coyote finally catching the Roadrunner. Lucy finally gets a contract at a major Hollywood studio, and her husband and her friends gaslight her into not taking it. The Mertzes claim they can't leave their apartment unattended even though someone is literally watching over it while they're in Hollywood right now. Hell, Lucy even offers to pay for them to live out there with her. Ricky claims he can't be with her because he has a contract with his nightclub in New York, which I'm sure he could get out of somehow, and even if he couldn't, he could go back and forth for a year, it wouldn't kill him. Celebrities did that sort of thing all the time, even back then. And then he has the audacity to say he's taking their child with him, as if she has no say in the matter. What in the actual f***? This episode pisses me off beyond belief. Number 2. Amateur Hour. Lucy buys a dress and Ricky is livid, so Lucy decides to get a job to pay for it. She finds a suspiciously high-paying babysitting job in the newspaper and takes it on. The mother brings her kid over to Lucy's apartment and acts like everything is normal, and lo and behold, after some shenanigans, it turns out that the children are twins, and demonic little hellraisers at that. They treat Lucy like physically abuse her, and attempt to light her on fire, which is apparently a normal scenario based on the mother's reaction. Lucy tells her off, and the mother has another proposition. Perform in a talent show with the twins that she is unable to attend, and she'll let Lucy keep the prize money if they win. Lucy agrees, does the talent show, during which one of the twins' pet toad gets loose and hops into Lucy's clothes, resulting in her doing a weird, erratic jig that the audience loves, and they win the contest. Ha 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 ha. Undisciplined kids burning their babysitter at the stake and facing no consequences for their actions. I hate them. The concept isn't funny or cute. The way they treat Lucy isn't funny or cute. It's just infuriating and obnoxious. They need to be taken away from their mother and put in therapy, and they make this episode unwatchable for me. Number 1. Lucy Goes to Monte Carlo. Lucy and company are in France, and Lucy and Ethel have some free time while Ricky performs a show. Lucy wants to see the most famous gambling casino in the world, Monte Carlo. Ricky, the overbearing buzzkill, forbids her from going because he's afraid that she'll get addicted to gambling. But he allows her to go to dinner and a movie instead, and she reluctantly agrees. Later, she and Ethel decide, using Lucy logic, to eat at a restaurant inside the Monte Carlo so they can see the inside of the casino. They go and eat, and as they're leaving through the casino, Lucy finds a chip on the floor and tries giving it back to someone by placing it on a roulette table. The spot she placed it on wins, and she tries convincing the dealer that it's not her money, inadvertently pushing the chips onto another number and winning again. She refuses to take the money until she finds out how much she won, 875,000 francs, which was about $250,000 back then, or over $2 million in today's money. She takes it to their hotel and hides it in Ethel's suitcase, too afraid to tell Ricky. Ricky ends up finding it and accuses Fred, who acts as his manager, of embezzling money. Lucy finds out and lies, saying Ethel inherited the money from a rich French aunt. Ethel finds out about her lie and gets angry at her, and Lucy gets overwhelmed by everyone being pissed at her for an accident and takes the money to Monte Carlo to give it back. Meanwhile, Ethel explains what happened to Ricky, and he's elated about the money, and they go to stop Lucy from giving it back. The episode ends with the dealer converting the money to chips and placing it on the roulette board just as Ricky, Fred, and Ethel arrive, and Lucy's number loses and all of the money is lost. This episode bothers me for a couple of reasons. Mainly the same reason Lucy and the Dummy irritates me. Ricky is a dick. One, it ends on an awful note with Lucy losing a ton of money through no fault of her own. And second is why she wants to give the money back in the first place. She is so terrified of Ricky being angry and lashing out at her for disobeying his orders like she's a child that she goes out of her way to hide and then give back a huge amount of money. She's a grown-ass woman. If she wants to gamble a little, she should be allowed, and she shouldn't have to cower from her abusive, maniac husband for doing so. F this episode and f Ricky Ricardo. And there you have it, the 5 worst I Love Lucy episodes. Do you also love Lucy? Let me know the episodes you can't stand or the episodes you love. I'm a new channel, so consider liking and subscribing for future videos and let me know your suggestions for future content. Thanks for watching.